talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.
Welcome back to another episode of Caged In. I'm your host, Chris Carlo. Got a very special guest making his debut on the show. It's my man, Reis Newman. How we doing today, brother?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I know you're in the middle of fight week. You got a fight coming up this Saturday night. So you're right in the thick of it right now. So I appreciate you, carving out a little bit of time. Come chop up with me about your fight coming up.
Yeah, I'm fighting. It's gonna be my second MMA fight. I've had a pretty good amount of kickboxing fights, Muay Thai fights. That's where I dabble in a lot more. But it's my second MMA fight. I'm fighting another pretty experienced opponent for only having my second fight. My first opponent was pretty experienced as well. This guy is a little bit different. He's more of a wrestler. I think that's all he's going to try to do is wrestle. I don't really think he has much stand-up at all. I'm super excited. This has been the best camp that I've had. It's my 10th fight. I feel like I'm starting to put a lot of things together with nutrition and strength and conditioning and not in general. So I'm really excited. This is going to be probably the best fight I've ever had for sure.
Hell yeah, man. I'm definitely excited for you. Big fight coming up Saturday, like you mentioned. Before we dive into that a little bit, let's talk about your background a little bit, man. Let's get to know you a little bit better. So you just talk about, where you were born and raised, kind of like what growing up was like for you.
Yeah, I'm from Peoria, Illinois. I don't know if a lot of people know where that's at. It's not a big town by any means. It's not really a small town either, though. It's a pretty all right sized city. It's about 2 hours away from Chicago.
Nice.
So we're really close to Chicago. I mean, we get a lot of people going back and forth from here and there. I'd say it's definitely a different place to grow up at. If you grew up in Peoria, you're most likely pretty tough. Or Peoria is really has a really good athletic, I don't know what you'd call it. A lot of people were athletes growing up. It's just they go down the wrong path or whatever. But we do have some pretty solid athletes from Peoria.
Nice.
In basketball and football and stuff. But yeah. I'd say, if you're from Peoria, you're probably pretty tough.
Oh yeah. Nice. Were you an athlete as well? Growing up, did you dabble in other sports? Any other in high school or whatnot after high school maybe?
Yeah, actually, I grew up playing baseball my whole life. Playing basketball my whole life. I started playing football in high school. That was fun. I just loved playing any type of sport, any competition. I always wanted to be better than the next person next to me. So.
For sure, man. For sure. Definitely can relate with that. How did your athletic background and, getting into sport, how did that kind of lead you into the MMA realm? How'd you start getting into training? What kind of got you into the gym there? What's the story there?
So the story with training was just I remember I was going through a pretty rough time in my life. And I had always just gotten in fights all the time, growing up, pretty normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it just came in my head one day, oh, I'm going to go to this Muay Thai gym. I don't really know what Muay Thai is, but it's kind of what I would like, hitting and punching and kicking.
Right.
And I went, obviously it wasn't how I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be super good or do this or do that, but then I'm in there with beginners and I don't know how to throw a kick right or do any of that stuff. So.
Right.
Then I was just thought well, I just got to learn it how I would any other sport. And then it just kind of just started learning it and not thinking of it as fighting somebody just to be violent and stuff. So.
Yeah, man, there you go. And how did the more, once you started getting into that Muay Thai training and learning the stand-up realm, how did that kind of leak into MMA and kind of what got you started, picking up the wrestling and picking up the jiu-jitsu and, everything that encompasses MMA?
Well, the original goal was to just fight MMA, but I didn't really quite understand what I would really need to do that. I was just I'm going to just go to this gym, I'm going to work out, and I'm going to just fight somebody in MMA. And when I realized that was a terrible idea and the level that I was actually at, I just started focusing on my stand up. I ended up switching gyms to a bigger gym. They had jujitsu. They have Muay Thai team, boxing team. They have way more training partners. It was just a way better situation. I'm still
Yeah.
with them, and um, I knew what it would entail to do that. So I just wanted to really make sure that I put the work in on the mat and on the stand up as well before I just entered a cage and did something probably that was not smart.
Yeah, for sure. You feel now that you've had that Muay Thai experience and everything that's kind of helped you transition into MMA, and that's kind of given you a good solid foundation to stand on when it comes to making that transition to MMA.
I honestly feel like, especially when you first come into MMA, you're not fighting guys with 10 fights, 15 fights. I feel like right now it's putting me on another level than a lot of these MMA guys. Even if they have a couple more fights than me, or even maybe like 5, 6, 10 more fights, just because I strictly focused on stand up, and I feel like grappling is so dominant in MMA right now
Mhm.
that a lot of people aren't having very good, technically sound stand up, and it's kind of like they just go in there, they're just like throwing punches and kicks, they're just gonna try to grab you or whatever.
Mhm.
I I really just think that it just makes a huge difference, especially with me doing kickboxing and Muay Thai, two different tempos and styles of striking. I think that it just puts me kind of like right, just a little bit above what they're doing.
For sure, for sure. Your nickname, man, you go by the Lord. What's the story behind the nickname, man? How'd you get it?
Um, my dad for my birthday bought me like a land in Scotland, I'm pretty sure,
Mhm.
for like $60, and I have a square foot with like a tree on it. So technically, since I own land in Scotland, I can put like on my birth certificate and on my ID and stuff like Lord. So it's just like a
Yeah.
funny, kind of, nobody really knows why that's the nickname, but we just thought it was funny. And he said that, oh, I could make my thing Lord because I like Darth Vader.
Mhm.
I like Star Wars and stuff, so it was just a funny joke. I even walked out to the Imperial March in my second fight
Is
just
that where
because.
that's what you're walking out with on this one?
No, it was in my second
Oh,
fight
your
when I.
second Muay Thai belt. I got you, got you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Are you a fan of MMA overall? Do you watch the sport? Do you watch the UFC and all the other major organizations as well?
Yeah, it's actually mostly all I do is just watch MMA, YouTube,
Mm.
MMA stuff. I watch a lot of that Cage Titans.
Oh
It's
yeah.
cool that I seen you interview a lot of those guys. Actually, when I first started training, I would see like their TikToks,
Hmm.
and I was like, wow, that place like looks so cool. And then I just kept seeing them, and then that Joe Giannetti guy that you've interviewed a couple times, I remember watching him on The Ultimate Fighter, and
Yep.
then I saw him fighting on there, and I just that promotion looks so cool. And I actually got to train with some people that have fought in that promotion down in Alabama, and they're pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah. The guys that are part of like the SBG team. You talk about
Yeah.
those guys? Yeah, a lot of those guys have come up and fought for cage science. So it's cool that you have a little bit of like knowledge and experience of like the realm that I kind of kick it in up here. So that's cool, man. That's definitely dope.
Yeah, actually, I went down to Alabama for a week, and I trained at that gym with them. We were doing, we had fights coming up. My opponent actually ended up pulling out. I had went through a pretty long period of time where people were just pulling out over and over.
Right.
But yeah, it was fun to meet them, and they were all really cool. And then I saw that the African assassin, he was the one that I saw on TikTok first, and I would always watch his TikToks, and I always thought that he was cool. And then I went to the gym not even knowing that he was a part of that gym, and then
Right.
I saw him, and he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, that is awesome. I think that's Arthur and Pofu, right? That's who you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good dude. He's a good ass fighter too. So,
yeah, he
um,
is.
hey, that's awesome, man. I love that you know about the cage science scene. Their TikTok is pretty sick too. I'm not gonna lie. Like they have a lot of good content that they put out there. I'm pretty cool with like the social media team that kind of runs that stuff, and they do an amazing job. So shout out to cage science, man. They definitely hold it down up here in Massachusetts. Um, let's talk about your gym a little bit. You did mention that you kind of outletted over there at SBG Alabama. What's your home gym and kind of your primary gym? What do you call home up there in Illinois?
My home gym is Peoria Athletic Club. We just like a jiu-jitsu academy. We've been around for a long time. It's kind of influxed with like sometimes it's a fighter gym, sometimes it's just like a jiu-jitsu gym.
Mhm.
The last couple of years it's really picked up. About the time that I joined, one of our one of the old coaches at PAC, he actually started Peoria Athletic Club a long time ago. Ryan Blackerby, he's a coach for Waco, USA.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
he came over with his son Thomas, who was on Team USA, one of the top kickboxers in the country, and they came and they started doing like seminars and stuff at our gym. Like our competition team was getting stronger. We were winning. More people were coming. Now we have like a pretty solid MMA team for only really starting about like a year ago.
Right.
And people from all over come, and it's really became a great place to train at in Central Illinois and Illinois in general. People from Chicago, people from all over the place come and train with us on Saturdays and stuff. So it's pretty cool what they've
Yeah,
done with it.
that's sick, man. It sounds like it's still kind of, blossoming, still kind of finding its way, but it seems like you guys have a solid foundation in there. And as the gym continues to grow, obviously, like the sharper you guys get, and you're all able to make each other better. So sounds like the gym situation that you got going on at home in Illinois seems like it's pretty strong.
Yeah, it's really strong.
Oh yeah, man, love to hear it. How do you think that gym has kind of taken your game and kind of encompassed you and kind of well-rounded your game into a full mixed martial arts game?
Well, I would start off with just our grappling, um, our our variety of coaches to choose from with our approach of how we want to. Like we have 13 black belts, high level black belts. I don't know if you know who Megaton is.
Not off the top of my head, I don't know.
Mackenzie Dern's dad.
Oh, okay, yeah, that
He's
makes
like a
sense.
legend. Him and his other coach Jack McVicker, they are like our lineage that our coach Professor Peplo comes from,
Hmm.
and we have 13 high level black belts. We have a bunch of young like competitive blue belts. We have a whole jiu-jitsu team. Like we have tons of people who don't do anything but jiu-jitsu. So I can really go in there. I can go down like it's one of those things where I could really just focus on jiu-jitsu if I wanted to and get all this training and stuff. But then we have wrestlers, and we have Muay Thai guys, we have boxers. So it's like I'm always at different classes all throughout the week, different trainings, like getting different looks from different people. You're very rarely ever gonna come in and get the same look all the time unless you're seeking out the same partners. We have enough people that you can get high level looks from over 20, 30, 40 people.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good to hear. It's good to have that variety of training partners here. Just not everything's not getting stale, and you're not, just kind of repeating the same training over and over again. It's good to stay fresh and get different looks. It sounds like you definitely have that over at your gym, man. Let's talk about your fight history a little bit. You are 1-0 as an amateur MMA fighter. Your first win was by unanimous decision over at True Revelation 50. Let's talk about that fight, man. The first one, MMA. How did it feel to get in there? Did it feel any different walking into your first MMA bout than it did, to your previous Muay Thai bouts?
Honestly, it felt a lot different than a Muay Thai fight. Um, it felt a lot more fun than a Muay Thai fight, but it was just different. You're thinking about different things. Everything's a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Okay.
No, you're good, man. Take your time.
Everything's a little bit faster, and I think I honestly had more adrenaline than a Muay Thai fight, just in general.
All right.
But I felt good. It was just you feel kind of naked with the little gloves on, and then
Yeah.
in a good way though.
Yeah, I've
They,
heard that. Did you, when you were fighting Muay Thai, you have the elbow pads and everything too? So I'm sure
mhm.
you felt a lot lighter in there.
Oh yeah.
Do you think your cardio held up better too, not having to carry around all that weight?
Um, I think that the pace was a lot different in MMA.
Mhm.
I could see why you would need better conditioning for an MMA fight than a Muay Thai fight, but I think depending on the fight, the pace can um change a lot more than a Muay Thai fight. Most Muay Thai fights are going to be around the same pace
Right.
um, when you interchange the opponents. MMA fights are a lot different. I feel like my fight wasn't such a high pace with too many too much volume that I was really getting that tired.
For sure. I got you. Anything about that first MMA experience that surprised you when you were in there?
Um, I know when he took me down in the first round, I'm pretty sure. What happened was I remember I had him in like a clinch position against the cage and I was kneeing him. And I'm so used to getting in like a stalemate clinch position in Muay Thai and they break it up. So my body kind of like let go for a second and he body locked me and took me down. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is MMA. I can't, the ref's not about to like break the fight up.
Right.
So that was a pretty funny thing that I kind of was like, oh wait, I need to like not do that.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, a learning experience, man. Just that transition. The more experience you have, the more, like the muscle memory aspect of it, like you said, that happened to you. I'm sure that will, fix itself in time with training and with more fighting experience for sure. Looking back on that first fight, man, how would you say that you've improved now that you're getting ready for fight number two?
One thing for sure is I've implemented a whole new strength and conditioning like schedule to my training camp this time. Ran by somebody, a super high level coach who's trained multiple high level pro athletes of all sports, even ones in the UFC
Nice.
and stuff. So I'm that's a very big relief right there, when you're about to fight, just knowing that you did that throughout your whole fight camp, something that your opponent probably didn't do. And also my last fight, I hadn't fought in so long. I really was just trying to like knock him out. Like I just wanted to do like a big knockout or something nice, something quick. And I was just throwing the punches way too hard. I wasn't even really like trying to aim or anything, and that's not something I normally do. I'm normally very accurate with my punches all the time. So I'm gonna get back to just relaxing and knowing that whatever's gonna come, it's gonna come. If
Fish.
I just touch it quick. So
Definitely, man. Let the fight come to you. Just fight your game and do your thing. Let's talk about it, man. Cage Aggression 35 going down this Saturday night. You're fighting Chris Polanco, who's 3-2. You're 1-0. He's 3-2, so he definitely has some more in cage MMA experience than you do. Have you watched the tape on this guy yet, man? How do you feel about his game overall?
yeah, I have watched some tape. I think that he's gonna try to take me down.
Hmm.
I don't think he's gonna be able to, and I don't see him lasting very long with me on the feet, especially with the way I feel this camp and the mindset that I'm going into this fight. I just think that this is going to be a really great performance from me, and a lot of people who are there or who watch are gonna remember it. But I think he's a good opponent for me for sure. I think that he's not gonna quit and he's gonna show up and he's gonna be professional and he's gonna come to fight. I just don't think that he's quite on my level at this point in time.
For sure. Do you think that these guys coming in to fight you, knowing that you have this extensive Muay Thai background, do you think that just originally they come in knowing like their game plan is going to be to try and get you to the ground?
Well, for a while, nobody would accept a fight with me because of my Muay Thai background.
Mhm.
And I finally got the fight accepted from Noah Blaney, who I fought my last fight. I thought he was going to try to take me down. He did take me down once when he had the opportunity, but other than that, he never shot once. I ended up taking him down. I remember I was leaving the hotel before the fight. I was talking to my girlfriend and I was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny like if I took him down?"
Mhm.
Just cuz like that's not something that I would ever try to do, like something I would joke about. I ended
Right.
up taking him down the second and third round and getting a lot of top control time. So I think this guy thinks, yeah, he's gonna try to take me down, but I just don't think it's gonna work. I think I'm gonna stuff a couple takedowns. He's gonna get frustrated, and he's gonna try to wing something, and he's gonna get clipped.
For sure, man. Where do you see yourself having the advantage versus Scott? Do you think you just have the edge in in the entire overall game, or do you think that there's some spots where maybe he might have an edge on you? Where do you see yourself, having the edge in this one?
I mean, I think he's definitely a better wrestler than me. He grew up wrestling, so that's not something that I can take away from him. I
Right.
can't say I'm better than him at that, but I don't think I don't think his his stand-up's going to be as good as mine. I don't think it's going to be really even close. And then I think if it does come down to it, I don't think he's going to be able to last in there as long as me either.
Hell yeah, man. Love to hear it. Saturday night, man, Cage Aggression. When you get in there, man, and the Cage Aggression fans get into the arena, what can they expect from you once that cage door locks?
I am going to throw the most malicious strikes the whole 9 minutes, and I'm gonna be on the gas the whole time. I'm gonna be trying to finish him the whole time, the whole fight. There's not gonna be 1 second where I'm not. I'm just not gonna get wild this time.
There you go, man. I love to hear it. I love the energy. Can't wait to see what you do on Saturday night. Go in there, get that W, get the hand raised, improve to 2-0, and then back in the lab, keep working on the skills, man, getting better.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Before I get you out of here, I usually like to wrap up with some random fun questions, so if we can get a few of those in before I get you out of here, and then we'll be on our way.
Okay, sweet.
All right, bet. All right, man. Do you have a walkout song planned yet for Saturday night?
Yeah, I do. It's Mini Man. I'm sure a lot of people have used that, but
Yeah, the 50 Cent song.
Vibe I feel for this fight camp.
Yeah, man, I love it. It's a classic. You can't go wrong with that. I'm sure the arena is going to be, head bobbing to that the whole way through. Do you have any hobbies outside of fighting, maybe outside of like MMA and training in the gym? Do you have any other hobbies that you're invested in?
Yeah, I actually I like collecting baseball cards.
Oh, hell yeah.
Comic books.
Comic books and baseball cards? I can get down with that. I'm a comic book guy myself. I got a whole collection right over here.
And I like gambling.
Me too. We got a lot in common, brother. Definitely a big gambler. Let me see. This is one of the slabs that I have right here.
Oh,
a little 9.5 Batgirl #1. Actually, a buddy of mine gave this to me, so I like to keep that on. Yeah, so I got a little bit of those. I don't do baseball cards. I do football cards, but I'm definitely into that.
Cards and some basketball cards too. I even got some UFC cards. I just say baseball cards because I got so many at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
Collection since I was like 7, so it's just been growing since then.
Hell yeah! Do you watch people like rip packs on like TikTok and stuff too, and like online? Do you watch people open packs?
Not really. I don't try to like get too far into it because I don't like opening stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I start getting too far into it, then I'm gonna be one to open stuff and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Do you have a favorite like TV show or a favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Spider-Man, probably.
Oh yeah. Which one? The OG?
Yeah.
The first Tobey Maguire?
Yeah. And then my favorite show, I gotta go with Family Guy.
Yeah.
Watch Family Guy.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. My brother's a huge Family Guy. He sends me like Family Guy clips like on the regular, and like I like it too, but I'm not as hardcore into it as he is. But he thinks it's the best show in the world, so he's always sending me random Family Guy clips. Shit's hilarious. If you could see any artist perform live, who would it be?
Damn. I don't even know. That's a good question. I would say maybe like Lil Wayne, probably.
There you go. That's a good one. Legend. UFC 287, man. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya, part 2 coming up shortly, man. Any predictions or thoughts on that fight? Any way that you see it going?
Man, I hope Adesanya gets his win back. I hope he gets his belt back, and I hope he gets it by KO or TKO. I don't know why all my training partners, all my teammates love Alex Pereira. Everyone around me loves Alex Pereira. I just want Adesanya to win. I don't even dislike Pereira. I just like Adesanya more.
For sure, man. I agree with that. I'm a big Izzy fan as well. That fight, the first one, was an amazing fight. I think this one's gonna be just as good, to be honest. Izzy's just got to go in there and retool and go get that belt back, man. It's gonna be a good scrap, I feel like.
I mean, he was doing everything perfect until the 5th round, 15 seconds of just a bad 15 seconds.
That's true. Same story with like Leon and Kamaru though, and then Leon retained his belt this past weekend. So
probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
The Leon knockout?
Yeah, that really was a huge parlay for me that night.
Did it? It hit for you or it ruined one for you?
You said what?
You're saying that knockout won a parlay for you or lost it?
It lost it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's a bad
But
beat.
I always bet against Usman every time up before that. Because
Really?
I just picked him.
Yeah,
And
and then
I'm,
this time you finally bet against him and he finally bet on him and he loses.
yeah, I put my bias to the side. I remember because I still wanted him to lose. But I
Damn.
was I need to go with the money pick, and then nope. 1 minute.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. I was with so I was at a Team USA training camp, and a bunch of the kickboxers and coaches had came out to eat, and we were all watching the fights like on the TV. And it's funny, the TVs went out at the bar, like they didn't pay for the pay-per-view, so I ended up just streaming it from my phone onto the TV through like the app, whatever connects to the TV.
Yeah.
And everyone went nuts when that head kick happened. And then they were trying to teach that combo the next day at the second day of the seminar, the cross kick.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I watched it. I had bet on Kamaru, and I watched it at like the DraftKings Sportsbook over in Connecticut. So I was like betting on the fights all night, and I bet on Kamaru. Was watching in the sportsbook with a bunch of people, and I left the sportsbook very salty that night because I lost some money. But it was an amazing fight, man. I had a blast watching it. The fight this past weekend was good as well. Obviously, can't top that first head kick knockout. Obviously, wasn't gonna be as fun the second time, but still a great fight. Those guys are both high level, so you can't really go too wrong whenever they're in there. So it was a blast.
Yeah, that was a good fight. I did enjoy it.
For sure. All right, Reis. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, man. I know you're in the middle of a fight week. You got a big fight coming up on Saturday. Thanks for taking the time, come out to talk to me. Before I get you out of here, anything you want to shout out? Any social medias you want to plug? Any sponsors you want to shout out? Anything like that?
I'll shout out my sponsor, Stocks and Roberts, right here, and then my other sponsor, Third Coast. Shout out my mom, because moms always pay for stuff, and then shout out my coach and team, and shout out you for having me on here, bro.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming on. Anytime you want to come back on, chop it up, shoot the shit with me. I'm always down for a little podcast episode, a little conversation. So thanks again for coming on, man. I appreciate you. Go get that W on Saturday night. Get that hand raised.
Thanks, bro. You too.
Yes, sir.
Got down for the count and he can't even talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.